Welcome to Sunday Smiles with Stef. For the new year, I thought about doing it a little bit different than I have, the previous months. So here's what we're gonna do. I have the privilege that over the next couple of weeks, I will have guests on my calls or my videos. And you wonder what kind of guests. So those guests are gonna be wonderful individuals that had left a mark in my life, a positive one.
Oh, good. I was hoping you were going to clarify that.
Yes, a positive mark in my life. And I'm honored to now be able to share them with you. Okay. So, what better way to do that than to have a little interview, a little chit chat, with them to bring them closer to you, right? And, once I've done that, I will bring those interviews to you in like 2 to 3, part series. All right. So you don't miss out on all of those nuggets, right? So, but before we dive in, let me tell you a little bit about this amazing individual that I have on today. This is Shaun. He's from Dallas. And there are no words to describe this man. I've had the honor to, him coming into my life, I think like June, July, 2018, through some circumstances that I feel like it was just meant to be for him to be part of my life. And he is, to be honest, my number one mentor. He taught me to not throw around the word mentor too lightly, but he's a true definition of a mentor. The value that he brings to me on a daily basis, to all the individuals that are on his daily calls. I think today we had episode 300. I don't even know. It's been a minute. And he has built a global entrepreneur business just because his goal is to make this world a better place, to impact generations to come. And I'm super, super grateful to, be part of his journey, to call him my friend and my mentor. So, Shaun, it is my honor
Steph?
to have you on with me.
Well, you know what makes a good mentor? An amazing student. And every mentor who pours into people, it's because there's an open cup. And you let us learn and teach ourselves more, because every day that you get better, you know what it requires? It requires me to get better. So thanks for teaching me, my love.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. Don't you guys see how amazing these were words? That's what I love about him. So, before we get into the scripted part of the interview,
Right.
one quick question. I know your day is only not even halfway through, maybe not fully.
Well, it's almost 10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay,
So
so it's
yeah.
still very early. So I'm still gonna ask it. Was there anything so far, and I have learned it from you, that has been a challenge today in those couple hours?
Yeah. So I started a new mentorship conversation with somebody who coaches Olympic athletes. She teaches them for 4 years how to shoot archery, right? How to become a good arrow shooter, but
Okay.
it's archery. And she teaches them to work towards the gold, because nobody goes to the Olympics to be second place, right?
Yeah.
So for 4 years, you get one 2-week period. So her and I, we're kind of the same sides. We're kind of the two sides of the same coin of success. So we agreed to every morning at 4 a.m. my time, 5 a.m. her time, to have a 10-minute accountability call every morning. So this morning I jumped up out of bed. Why am I getting up at 3:45? I knew I was supposed to get up at 4, but I'm like, why am I getting up at 3:45? And I'm like, oh crap, I have my accountability call. I got to go get my 3 things in line. So that was a challenge for me today. And here's the funny thing. She didn't wake up till like almost 5:30.
Oh.
She said, I was going to I was going to call BS on the whole thing, but she said, I have never had my alarm shut off. My computer got hacked. I'm like, okay, that's just another sign the universe is there. So I got up and I did my work. But yeah, that was a challenge for me to have myself be held accountable to somebody else that early. Now tomorrow I think it'll be easier. I'm hoping it's going to be easier, but yeah. So that was a challenge for me today.
I can imagine that. This is definitely very early.
Yeah, and
I'm
especially
not
with an
planning
Olympic
for
athlete
myself.
trainer,
You said
somebody
what?
who trains Olympians. I'm just a little farm boy from Ohio. God, I was nervous. I'm like, what's she going to yell at me?
I love that. And thank you for sharing that, because that's something that's important to me, is to show that we all are humans and we all have our, challenges that we go through, right? And I know some people, watching that, they probably think like, oh, that must be easy. They probably like practice it over and over again to, make it perfect. But you have no idea the questions I'm going to ask you, right?
I honestly don't, and I'm a little nervous, but so let me just put my hat on lock. Go. This could get tough. I don't want my hat blowing off with these questions.
Okay, well, you're ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so I have some notes here to make sure I don't, mix up the questions.
Sure.
I'm gonna say I'm honored because this is the first time I'm doing this, so I'm excited. All right, so first question. The first question actually is a two-part question. So I'm going to start with the first one. What is the best advice you have received so far that served you well?
It's advice I got from my dad when I can't remember. I used to have this fascination. I know this is going to sound crazy, but whenever we would go to restaurants, I always want to go see the bathroom. I don't know. I have no idea. It was a thing. So my daddy always said, leave it better than you found it. And from a very early age, I would wipe down the counters. Wow. And I still can't leave a bathroom today without wiping down the counters. But that philosophy has poured into everything I do, from walking into a room of crowded people and sharing a smile, getting at least one person to smile that wasn't smiling before. Leave it better than you found it. It doesn't matter if it's a roadside truck stop or if it's a restaurant, if I'm standing in line at the DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles, or the toll tag. It's imperative. I have to leave it better than I found it. So that's the greatest advice that I've ever received, and it still serves me today.
I think that's a powerful one. I love that one. I think that's the goal for, a lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us, to just, at least the people that I've came across, is to just leave a mark.
Well, I mean, what happens is sometimes we make our worldly goal too narrow. Mm-hmm. See, that I can make that goal. That goal can work whether I'm being translated in a foreign language, whether I'm on a plane, whether it doesn't matter. I can always leave this moment better than I found it. And I think sometimes it's important that we make our goals a little bit as bigger than our dreams, because once we accomplish any goal, what are we done? No, we're going to set another one. So is there something that can be so global that it works at any moment? That's, again, that's the best advice that I've ever been given. And I'm just glad it came from my dad, because he's not here. And so I get to live with him every day now.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Really, that's beautiful. Okay, ready for part number 2 of the question?
I'm glad you broke it up, because I wouldn't have remembered part 2. Go ahead.
So, what's an advice you received that turned out to be horrible? Like, you thought it was amazing,
Yeah.
And at that time you acted on it, and it turned out to be a disaster.
Well, I'll put it this way. The advice was so terrible, it gave me my PhD.
Okay, I'm curious about this one now.
So my first professional year in this industry called network marketing, MLM, me loving more, it was $80,000. Let me finish. In debt. The worst advice I got was to tell people to just put people on the product, just give it away. The product's so good, they'll love it. Mm-hmm. Well, I like to do things big, and I did it big. And only to find out later that there's a phenomenon in sales, and I hope I don't offend any of your audience, but it's called the hooker factor. Okay. Once people get the prize, they're not willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
Right. So I gave everybody these prizes of feeling healthier, but it wasn't about income. I just was wanting to make people feel better. I didn't tie any cost to it. I didn't tie anything to it. So that was the worst advice I ever got, because that year I lost $80,000. I literally, you could have took 80 grand and burned it. I didn't even get the product back. So, which funny how some of our biggest challenges turn into our greatest successes if we know how to use it. That is what drove me. That is probably what kept me from failing in this industry for the next 19 years, because I've been in it now for 22 years. but that probably was the catalyst that turned my business around. Is like, I'm going to go back to doing what I love, building people, not building a business. I was building a business at that time, and that was probably the worst advice I ever had.
And it goes hand in hand with, what, a lot of us always hear is, it's never failure, it's always a lesson.
Yep.
Learn from those things and what can you do better next time?
Yep.
I think
Absolutely.
that goes hand in hand with that. So I like that. And I can relate because I have the same thing happening. So
We all can. You
yeah.
you haven't gotten your stripes yet unless you've oh my God, I'm broken this thing. This doesn't work. No, I've been there. A matter of fact, I wanted to quit yesterday, but no, I said no, I got to keep going.
Don't you dare. No. I love that. I love that. So since I said I want to break this up, so I'm gonna do this as the first segment. So
and so this is going on Instagram. Is that's where your Smiles with Stef is, right?
Yes, that's gonna be on Instagram. I'm also gonna upload it to my YouTube. I don't have so many people yet on YouTube, but it's gonna be part of my IGTV episodes.
So for all of you that are on Instagram, I'm gonna encourage you this. I'd have you share your story, right? Right? Share what's been your biggest lesson? Because here's why. If you're watching Stef's page, it's because you're a leader. You may not think you are, but if you're on this page, like attracts like, and so you're a leader of some form, some fashion. I'd encourage you to share your story. What's some of the greatest information that you ever got? Because here's what's going to happen. Once you say it, it'll remind you. So I'd ask you to post that in the comments. Go ahead and post those in the comments, the things that the lessons you learned, because it may inspire somebody else. I may not, I'm a 54-year-old white guy from Texas. I may not inspire somebody, but I promise you, if you're watching this, you may inspire them.
Yeah, sometimes it's just that little spark that someone needs. And that's one of my missions that I do on my lives. I always say, if there's just one person that can take away something, that gets inspired or, has an aha moment, as Shaun always says it, I did something right.
Excellent. I agree.
Yeah. So with this first segment coming to an end, what is the biggest takeaway you would want people to take from this?
The biggest takeaway is to know this. Your experience has gotten you here. The only thing that's going to get you to there, wherever there is the way you've used your experience. So the experience you have, if you love to read books and you haven't read a good book in a while, go get a book. If you've ever done anything that's worked, go do that again. How many of us right now, and I can promise you, you're listening to this, how many of us right now have done something that worked in the past and then we put it off?
Oh, yeah.
And we get reminded again and we go, son of a biscuit eater, I should be doing that. That's the takeaway I want you to get from this. There's something you don't need another book. You don't need another lesson. You don't need another training. You need to be reminded of your own greatness. So take that thing that that worked in the past, rekindle it, fire it up. You're better now that you've been through the experience. You could use it better right now. So that'd be my suggestion.
I love that. And it reminds me of a lesson that I've learned in the last year is the same like with a book. You read it the first time and then maybe you read it a second, third, fourth time. You're going to learn something that you didn't see before. But it's not that the audio or the book is new, that it just appeared in there. No, it's because you have grown. So I definitely.
Yeah. I mean, imagine when you're dating somebody and you're in that fun new stage and you want to see them every day. You want to talk to them every day. And the reason you want to see them every day and talk to them every day is because every day you change, you both grow, you both get to know each other more. Same thing happens with a book with the same enthusiasm. Imagine how wonderful your love life would be if every time you met somebody, that was the last time you ever met them. Y'all got books on your shelf. You've read it once and you put it away and the book is sitting in there going, I thought we were dating. I didn't know this was a one book stand. Thanks for inviting me to be part of part one of your show today.
Yeah, I love it. So thank you guys for watching. Trust me, there will be more. Okay, Shaun will be back, and as I said, over the next couple of weeks, I will have even more guests coming on. And I can't wait for you to learn from them, to get inspired by them. Yeah, I'm excited. So until then, see you next time. Bye.